In Calgary, Danielle Smith is elected as the new leader of the United Conservatives and the next premier of Alberta. In Ottawa, Conservatives call on the Trudeau government to make Thanksgiving dinner more affordable for Canadians. After Hurricane Fiona, maritime premiers thank first responders and deliver help to those hit hardest by the storm. Thousands marched to protest the brutal murder of a young woman by the Iranian regime. Pierre Poilievre delivers words of encouragement and hope. In Ottawa, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre announced his new shadow cabinet. It is a mixture of old and new faces and one big surprise. This is Conservative Journal of Canada. I'm Brianna Sawyers. Here's what's happening in Conservative Canada for the week of October 10th. Danielle Smith is the new leader of the United Conservative Party, winning on the final ballot with 54% of the vote. Travis Taves, who was Alberta Finance Minister under Jason Kenney, finished second. 84,000 party members voted across the province.
If there's one thing I've learned about Albertans, is that we don't expect our leaders to be perfect, but we do expect them to stay humble, admit when they're wrong, and to learn from their mistakes. I love that about our province, and I'm grateful to have earned this second chance from you. I will never forget it, and I pledge to you tonight, I will not let you down.
The new leader called on Conservatives to unite.
Albertans want us to be unified. They want us to succeed. Albertans don't want to elect a socialist NDP government any more than they want to see the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup.
She expressed her love for Canada and her hope for future generations.
In closing tonight, I want to speak to our fellow Canadians. Albertans love Canada. It is our country, our home. All we want is to live, grow, and prosper in the manner that we choose. We can build the most innovative, entrepreneurial, and well-educated workforce in the developed world, where students are taught to create and build and innovate rather than to conform, obey, and profess allegiance to failed and outdated ideologies.
2 days later, Danielle Smith traveled to Medicine Hat, where she will run for a seat in the Alberta legislature in a by-election. She told reporters she wants to stand up for rural Alberta.
The main reason why I am so committed to running in a rural riding is I know that our rural ridings didn't feel like they had the strongest voice at the table during the last years of the COVID pandemic. And I hope this sends a signal not only to the residents of Brooks, Medicine Hat, but to the residents of all rural Alberta, that their voice will be heard, it will be prominent, and it will be respected.
Danielle Smith becomes the new premier of Alberta. She is expected to name a new cabinet October 21st, just in time for the UCP's annual convention in Edmonton. In Ottawa, Pierre Poilievre reminded the Trudeau Liberals of the high costs Canadians are facing over Thanksgiving.
Well, they won't be smiling if their parents can't afford a little bit of pumpkin pie for them at Thanksgiving dinner. Look at the cost increases that have happened. 16% increase for the cost of turkey, 22% increase for potatoes, bread up 13%, butter 13%, cranberries 12%, bacon 10%. That all adds up to an unaffordable Thanksgiving dinner. The Prime Minister wants to make it worse still by tripling his tax on our farmers, our truckers, and ultimately our consumers.
Mr. Speaker, he wants to help Canadians, but he will not stand with low-income Canadians who want to give their kids better smiles.
Conservatives push the Liberals to cancel their plans to triple the carbon tax.
Mr. Speaker, everything is getting more expensive as this government drives up inflation with its tax and spend policies. Now they are planning to triple taxes on gas, triple taxes on groceries, and triple taxes on home heating. Mr. Speaker, this is all while Canadians are struggling to get by and just barely able to afford the basic necessities. Mr. Speaker, will the Finance Minister today finally announce a plan to cancel her tax hikes that will triple the cost?
The Liberals only made lame jokes about crypto.
The Conservatives had said that today they would put forward a private member's bill promoting crypto. But earlier this week, and for the third time in a row, they pulled the bill.
Doug Ford was out and about in Etobicoke on Thanksgiving long weekend, delivering food to the food bank and chatting with volunteers. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Deputy Leader, Melissa Landsman, spoke to thousands in Richmond Hill, Ontario, who gathered to protest the murder of an innocent young woman by the brutal regime in Iran.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. Why is it now that the world is waking up?
Why is it that we're all standing together in this world against this regime? 2 words: Masa Amini. These are the words that were unknown, that were anonymous, and now they echo all around the world. A young woman, just 22 years old, her whole life ahead of her, has lost her life, but in a sense, she lives on in this world as she inspires countless people to stand up for the freedom of young women like her and to say never again will we allow this to happen, and to stand for a change in the government in Iran so that this terrorism and this tyranny comes to a permanent end.
Premiers Dennis King and Tim Houston praised the work of volunteers and cleanup crews after Hurricane Fiona left thousands without power. They are working to get help to everybody who is affected.
It just seems to be ingrained in the good nature of Islanders to find that silver lining in the darkest clouds. And personally, I've needed to hear that a lot this weekend. And I know that it's probably even more important for us to hear it over these last few days, all Islanders.
Hey folks, Premier Tim Houston here. I'm just surveying the damage around the province. It is extensive. This is man, oh man, the damage from the storm was pretty remarkable. Just want to take a second and let you know that the application process for personal supports is open. That should be open. That's the $100, the $250, some of the other personal supports. That should be open up today. So we want to get that. We want to get that flowing. We want to do what we can. The supports for businesses, that's coming too. But listen, folks, there's a lot of cleanup, a lot of recovery. This is going to take time, but there's a lot of people focused on getting us there. So hang in there. We'll get through this for sure. But man, this was one heck of a storm. But applications for the supports are open, and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks, everyone. Hang in there.
In Ottawa, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre announced his new shadow cabinet. It is a mixture of old and new faces, and one big surprise. Some of the most senior critics were ministers in the Stephen Harper government, like Pierre Poilievre himself. At Foreign Affairs, Ontario MP Michael Chong. At Justice, New Brunswick MP Rob Moore. Former Conservative House leader Gerard Deltel is a new environment critic, and some top-performing critics held on to their portfolios. Raquel Dancho stays on as public safety critic, and two-time leadership contender Leslyn Lewis joins the shadow cabinet as infrastructure critic. The big surprise is the new finance critic. Jasra Singh Halan takes center stage in the fight against the Trudeau Liberals' tax and spend inflation agenda. The new finance critic is not some Bay Street banker. Halan studied accounting at the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. He became a successful home builder in Calgary before going into politics. In 2019, Deepak O'Brien died in office after 22 years as Member of Parliament for Calgary Forest Lawn. Halan took on a tough field of candidates, including a well-known city councillor for the Conservative nomination, and he came out the winner. Jasra Halan's mentor was a legendary Alberta lawyer and cabinet minister, Manmeet Bhullar.
I, Manmeet Singh Bhullar.
Manmeet Bhullar was widely respected, the youngest Sikh ever elected and the first Sikh cabinet minister. Bhullar was killed in 2015 trying to help somebody injured in a car crash in a snowstorm. Manmeet Bhullar's spirit lives on in the young man he inspired and coached. Jasra Halan had a Thanksgiving message this week for the Trudeau Liberals.
Any type of help is being vaporized by the inflation that they created. This Thanksgiving, the Liberals are serving up Canadians with high inflation, leaving families to turn to food banks and homeless shelters at an alarming rate. Next Thanksgiving, the Liberals will serve Canadians a turducken of tax by tripling the carbon tax on groceries, home heating, and filling up your tank. Will this government have some mercy? Stop serving suffering to Canadians and cancel their plans to triple the carbon tax.
And that's it for this week. Make sure to sign up for our free weekly email update and stay in the know with what's happening in Conservative Canada.